This one's probably going to be more personal. I'm not sure if I'll be uploading this. It's a sensitive subject for many people, including myself. I found this curious book on my bookshelf. I've inherited a lot of books throughout the course of my lifetime, and this happens to be one of them. I've never read cover to cover. It's called Closer to the Light: Learning from the Near-Death Experiences of Children. It says amazing revelations of what it feels like to die. It's by Melvin Morse, Paul Perry, and a foreword by Raymond A. Moody, author of Life After Life. Do you believe in life? What is it? Cher? I don't even know the song. Life After Love. That's the song. Do you believe in whatever? I gotta go look up that song now, or else I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. It's one of those niggling little. Anyway, this has reviews from Trenton Times, Fairfax Journal, and the Union Leader, as well as Booklist. All of them are great. I'm not going to read all of them. These are the dedications. To my wife, Allison, and children, Bridget, Colleen, and Brett, for their patience and inspiration. That's Melvin Morse, MD. For my mother, Esther, and my father, and Jewel. That's Paul Perry. This is interesting. This was copyrighted in 1961, but this is the September 1991 version. This is about the case studies. The case studies in this book present material gathered throughout interviews with patients who had near-death experiences. Names, ages, and some of the details of these stories has been changed to protect the identity of the patient. I'm going to open randomly, like I do. Okay, this is page 104, and there's like a little tiny clippet that I feel like I'm drawn to here. This is Spirit and Medicine, Healing the Split. And I kid you not, this is where I opened. This is it. Healing the Split. I was deeply moved by this mother's story. I feel that just understanding near-death experiences will be our first step at healing the great division between science and religion that started with Isaac Newton almost 300 years ago. Educating physicians, nurses, and ourselves about what people experience in those final hours will shatter our prejudices about the way we think about medicine and life. Such understanding will not return us to the outdated religious and rituals that did not keep pace with modern science. We will combine the essence of those ancient truths with scientific knowledge and create new rituals with which to heal our inner selves and society. Bearing that in mind, I am going to use the mix and match deck as well as the Buddha deck. I don't know why. Those are the ones that came out. Okay. Let's go backwards. Start with Buddha deck. Yeah, my voice has now cracked twice. Yeah, my throat chakra is freaking out right now, and it was doing just fine a moment ago. Might just be a sore subject. It's pages 104 and 105. Okay, this is compulsive feeling that came out in the reverse, number 21. In the upright, this says, your mind is a storyteller, spinning stories out of the sight, sound, taste, smell, and textual feeling of the sensory world as you experience them. Given what this just said about understanding our experiences, both religious as well as ritualistically. When it comes to medicinal healing, your belief in your experience is somewhat the way that it takes form or shape. There's a website called The Shape of a Mother. It's the shape of what women look like after they've given birth. Realistically, not like in Hollywood, Bollywood, cinema world. Number 8, restless mind. Monkeys love to hop from tree to tree with one more thing to get, do, or eat. This restless energy in the monkey and in your mind will never be happy with just one more, as more never ends as long as the restlessness is in charge of your welfare. That's pretty deep. So it's number 21 in the reverse, number 8 in the upright. I guess that's the restless mind. A lot of people want to know what happens after we die. And if you don't have a good concept of that on your own or by yourself, which does not mean go have a near-death experience. I'm not suggesting that. All I'm saying is that those are probably the people who have never had experience with death, around death, a near-death experience themselves, or know somebody who has helped them understand religiously, spiritually, or ritualistically any type of transitional element or essence of understanding, as it says. Then the ancient truth and scientific knowledge that do create kind of their concept of what life and death mean, the meaning behind it, has probably seeped out. Damn, that was dead on. This is death. Number 27. I love doing tarot. I really love doing tarot. But sometimes the accuracy of it is astounding, even to me. Okay? Yeah. Fear of the inevitable is not wise, and worry about the unavoidable is a trick. The delusive mind loves to play to hook your attention. It's basically saying you could die walking across the street tomorrow. You could die of old age in your sleep. You could die of 1,000 different illnesses, diseases, whatever you want to call those elements of worry, stress, angst, anxiety that hinder your physical vessel. You could die of any of those things. But the idea of death itself is not something to worry about. That is the one thing that's guaranteed. I've never seen someone get off the face of this planet without dying. I mean, unless you're an astronaut. But then you're just dying in outer space instead of dying on Earth. The other thing that this says, there's quotes on each of these, so I'll go ahead and read those. Just keep in mind that number 21 has nothing to do with this, right? Compulsive feeling. Your feelings don't have anything to do. You could feel very strongly about something, and you can get shot. Someone could stab you. So you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the fear of death itself is not actually a conducive thought. We'll go backwards again. To realize everything ending, it is a new beginning, is wise. This realization is a fertile ground for spiritual growth. Okay? Restless Mind says, be wise, don't let the monkey mind run the show for too long. True happiness cannot be realized without setting your heart, mind, and body in unity and in harmony. And compulsive feeling, which we're not going to pay attention, we're going to reverse whatever this says. We have produced many of our own problems through our confused mental states, meaning that we don't really have any control over our mental state. Sometimes feeling is one of them. Has nothing to do with having a unhealed or unresolved. You can have feelings about it, but death is inevitable. You could call it, that's what I'm going to say. You can call it scary. You can call it profound. You can call it a transformational life passage. You can call it whatever you want, but whatever feeling you have about death doesn't change the reality of the part of life that is death. Okay. We have no false speech at the bottom of the deck, which is what I was trying to say about, death coming out in the tarot card death reading. This is delusional mind. This says a delusional mind is afraid of telling the truth because truth telling takes courage of the heart. When you are dwelling in your mind, you feel disconnected. I think that's why this came out. I don't think it has anything to do with feelings. You can feel however you want to feel, as long as you're not delusional and letting that delusion control your brain. So you're being this monkey that's just running in a circle, chasing its own tail about death. Understood? This is number 12. This is number 35. So I'm going to read bottom of the deck. This was top of the reading, was delusional mind. I'll also read the quote off of there since I've been reading the quotes. Anger is easy to see and greed is more subtle, but delusional is the hardest. All the accompanying mind states get cloudy, confusing. That's by Ajahn Shah. Number 35, no false speech, says to speak truthfully is what your heart wants, and to speak in ways that will make you feel bigger and better is what your fictional self constructed by an untrained mind. Choose wisely. The quote on here says, what is the right speech? Abstaining from lying, from divisive speech, from abusive speech, and from idle chatter. That is called right speech. That's a quote from the Buddha. Now I'm going to lighten this up a little bit because that was real deep and heavy. It's just about as deep and heavy as you could possibly ask for. Just going to get some mix and match energy to see where this is going, visually speaking, and get some messages that could pertain, please, to closer to the lights, spirit and medicine, healing the split. Yeah. I feel like this card is representing the scientific religious gap or the division that has been there for a long time. I don't think it is much about feeling, it's about belief, what you've inherited to be your belief system. So many people never question what their parents say or what they learn from the teachings that their parents have followed, which is no judgment here about that. It just means if you've been raised really orthodox, many people don't want to change that key, if you will. It's a key piece of information. They want to remain orthodox in whatever religion or whatever scientific community that they've grown up with. That's the key to their understanding when it comes to medicine, spirituality, death, life itself. Those are the definitions that usually take precedent. And there's, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. It just simply means that, there's other ways of hearing things out. There, you can listen to what you've known, or you can listen to what you'd like to create. I'm just going to read. I just looked down. I'm about to do a reading for this card from here. But it does say that the second sentence, the sentence written here, True happiness cannot be realized without setting your heart, mind, and body in unity and in harmony. So if you hear something or if you realize something from a system of belief outside of your own, or perhaps a ritual or a medical journal, a scientific journal, or a religious sect of life, right? That makes or resonates, I'll say that, resonates with your inner self in a way that resonates with your mind, body, and spirit. I would encourage personally for you to take the time to just, you don't have to be loud about it. You don't have to be boisterous. You don't have to tell anybody that you even did it. Because that's oftentimes the problem with specific trains of thought, is that they require you to believe that and only that, because there's jealous gods and all this. Okay, well, just keep them open. Just keep an open mind about who, what, when, where, why, and how you'd like to live your life. Yeah, your thoughts, your beliefs, the way your life is going to be lived is not for sale. It's not. It is yours and yours only. And if you don't want to have a restless mind, I'm just seeing this boat that is, obviously travels from here to here to here to here to here. If you would like to feel the peace and the joy, the happiness, the oneness, the overall stability, look, there's a queen. You want to be the queen of your own heart, right? It's so cheesy to say that, but let me be corny for a minute. Then you don't have to keep jumping from ideology to ideology, from philosophy to philosophy. If you find something that feels good to you, stick with it. Go with the flow instead of trying to force yourself to understand somebody else's understanding to the keys to their heart, or the how they've become the queen of their own kingdom or castle or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's gonna be a different experience, just like everyone has a different fingerprint. There's not one way of experiencing God. There's not one way of believing in science, and there's not one way in practicing medicine. There's Eastern and Western medicine and all that good stuff. Let's get one for death, please. Well, there you go. That really wanted to be out here. This is the I'm just saying this, that the fear of inevitable is not wise. Okay. And worry about the unavoidable is a trick the delusive mind loves to play to hook your attention. So things that your tithing is very important. And I'm not trying to say that if you got your 10% of your income goes toward tithing and that's what's important to you, do it. But also realize that you can't take these jewels. I think that was in the dedication. You can't take anything with you when you die. You can look into like ancient death rituals if you're interested in ritualistic concepts or ideologies of death. People sometimes bury their dead with a piece of jewelry or with a part of their life that meant something to them. It's little figurines or statues or whatever. And those are very sentimental and endearing. However, in the afterlife, it's going to be in my opinion, this is my personal opinion, the knowledge that you're able to plant and grow for yourself. Whatever you plant and grow, that's what you take with you. It's the knowledge that you've been able to share with others, the love that you've been able to give and receive. And you don't want to be delusional about, like, I need to give as much as a king or a queen would give in order to make it through the gates of heaven. Like, I don't think you can buy your way into death. Yeah, there's such thing as headhunters. Yeah, people are nasty out there sometimes. They're not very nice humans that will try to speed that process up if they're is so inclined to do so because of wealth and riches, but I don't, that's a delusional mind talking to them, not reasonable, rational, healing entities that want to experience the transition of death or the experience of death, whether it be yours or someone else's or whatever. The death of a career is retirement, right? The death of a car is a junkyard, right? I'm just kidding. That was the death of a car is not necessarily the junkyard. I'm just saying that there's death can be experienced in so many different ways. The death of a relationship is a breakup or a divorce, right? Whatever burden you're being saddled with, don't let that be. What I'm trying to say very unsuccessfully, might I add, is that these two ears being green here, that's kind of like those two baskets. You have what you used while you're in your life, and then you have what's left for you on your grave, right? And aside from those people who decide to be grave robbers, you don't get to take anything from the grave of other people, of your own grave. Like, once it's the grieving, it's the grave realization. Yeah, there you go. There's a king and the queen coming out. I'm going to use this as the top of the deck, or the bottom of the deck, excuse me. No false speech. This is be the king and the queen of your own speech. This is the quote from the Buddha here says, abstaining from lying, from divisive speech, from abusive speech, and from idle chatter. If we can achieve small goals like that, then whatever ritual, whatever medicinal use you have for whatever scenario you encounter, it will be the right thing for you. Be the right thing for you personally. Okay? And taking faith in that is a lot of healing, where you don't have to have a split mindset or a gap in the way that you're functioning. Like, oh my God, I'm a monkey over here, and oh my God, monkey say, speak, do, whatever. You don't have to feel burdened on both sides. You can just continue using the key. Sorry, it's a donkey. I couldn't help myself. The key that you need to get through whatever valley. Just seeing him, like, since we're talking about death, like walking through the valley of the shadow of death. He's all by himself. He doesn't have a rider. He's not delusional. He's carrying what he needs to carry, but not carrying everything under the sun just because he has to. This is tithing in a different way. It's service. Same thing goes for the great teachers, the great orators, the great revolutionaries. All of them have left a huge impact on society that had nothing to do with the amount of money they may or may not have had. With their, I think a little bit of spirituality, or perhaps ritualistic life educational belief system goes behind being a revolutionary. But that doesn't have to be the main focus of your life, especially as it pertains to death. Finding the two halves of yourself and integrating them with one another, no false speech of death. Like, if you're speaking at someone's eulogy, speak on the things that brought life to their existence, not the things that caused their death. It's just one way of experiencing things in a more childlike way, without actually having to experience a non-lifelike experience or near-death experience of your own. Okay.